Good evening and welcome to Independence High School for the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. I am Steve Hare with Ohio Varsity and the CVC Sports Information Director. Looking forward to talking some soccer with a whole bunch of teams from the Chagrin Valley Conference. First up is the Chagrin Falls Tigers and co-coach Pamela Malone, and Joe, I'm going to say C because I'm going to mess it up, but I'll let them introduce themselves. Coach, I'm going to start with you and just go ahead and introduce who you brought with you. And as I've been doing with all the teams, just kind of give us the elevator pitch of what to expect out of the Chagrin Falls Tigers in 2021.
Okay, great. First of all, thanks for having us. Yes, Joe Chuney and I are co-coaching this year's team, and we brought players Peyton Gellin, Senior Peyton Gellin, and Senior Sarah Burgess. They are also our co-captains. As far as our elevator pitch, as usual, we have speed. We're very excited approaching this season. We do have speed. We have 7 returning starters. Probably the position that we are trying to fill right now is the goalie position. Because Aaron Krebs was with us for 4 years, and we never really had to, think much about that goalie position, which is so important in the game. So we've got a couple of things up our sleeve with that, trying some new people out, and we're also looking at some different formations. Every year you don't do the same formation. It's based on your personnel and their strengths and weaknesses. So we are looking at some different formations, and I'll hand it over to Joe.
Thank you for having me as well. I'm excited it's my first CVC Media Day. I'm excited to be here. I think we're going to bring a nice little blend of attacking talent this year to the field. We're going to be a fun team to watch. We returned pretty much every major attacking player from last year, most of all goal scoring and assists. A few graduated seniors need to be replaced on the defensive end, but we've got some young, exciting players in the freshman class and some of the younger classes who are ready to step in and play their role.
All right, I'll get back to the coaches, but Peyton and Sarah, I think I've written about you guys, it seems like 10 years now. I don't know how much eligibility you had, but I think you've exhausted it. But just going into the senior year, how exciting is it? Just knowing, you guys are part of a program that's kind of set the bar for everybody else in the area, and people are catching up, and you've had to raise your game. But just heading into that senior year, how are the expectations, the nerves? How are you guys handling all of that?
Well, I'm really excited this year. I think we have really good chemistry with this team. We're really bonding well. We have pretty hard competition ahead of us, but I think it will be really good and set us up for playoffs.
Yeah, we have, like Joe said, we have a lot of good freshmen and underclassmen coming up, and we want to set the tone that we're here to play hard, and we want to win, and we want to do as well as we can as a program. But I think Sarah and I's focus this year is just leading this team as best we can.
With 7 returning starters, obviously the expectations are, as they always are in Chagrin Falls, very high, but you've got a few new kids that are going to be in the starting lineup, some new faces on the sideline. How do you as seniors, do your part to get everybody to gel and be on the same page?
I think our big thing is just encouraging everyone. Everyone's going to make mistakes. We make mistakes all the time, but we just want to let the girls know that it's going to be all right. We're going to move on. You got to keep yourself going, pick your head up, and you just got to let it go sometimes and just keep going.
Yeah, and just with the hard competition, even if sometimes we're getting beat, just not to give up. They're young kids going against seniors, and they just got to keep going.
As freshmen and sophomores, you guys were learning from some of the great players that preceded you. Now you're in that position. How have you worked with the younger kids to get them to learn what Chagrin soccer is all about and to perform at a high level every game?
I think a lot of it's through practice. Our practices are really intense. We know when to have fun, and we know when to be focused. And I think that a lot of it just is through our training, and we train really hard. And I think we've set the tone that this is our season, and it's going to be a fun season.
Coach, I'm going to go back to you since we talked a few minutes ago, just your 30th year with the program and the changes in high school soccer, let alone girls soccer. But you look in this room, you've got a state champion over there. We were just talking, there's 2 state championship coaches. West Kyaga has elevated its game. Hawkins over here is a perennial powerhouse. The Chagrin Valley Conference, 1 division within the league. How cool is that, just to have girls soccer elevated so high?
Yeah, that is very exciting. And, when you look at the CVC Chagrin division, I believe we had 4 teams that were in districts or regionals. And, 2016, we were in the state final, and Ed was in the state final. Kirtland was in the state final. So, I mean, we've got great competition just within, our little division, which is kind of cool. And, being public schools as well, we kind of like that about us is, also.
Joe, just from you, I mean, being at Gilmore, like I said, you've got one as well, and bringing what you learned at Gilmore over to Chagrin and merging that with Pamela's knowledge, how is all that kind of beneficial for the kids?
I think it's worked great so far. I've always had a great respect for Pam even before I started coaching at Chagrin. She's obviously had a pretty great career coaching high school soccer in the area. And I was already kind of affiliated with Chagrin, coaching some of their younger players in travel and club and stuff. So it was a really easy transition for me, and I think I can definitely bring some good things to the table in terms of taking the team to some next levels here. I'm probably more of a technique guy and technical side of the game, for sure, and tactical. So I think I can bring some of those strengths and help elevate us and hopefully make us smarter players on the soccer field, as well as better with our feet.
And then for the co-coaches, just offensively, defensively, how's it all going to come together every night?
It's going to be a mix. We haven't, there is no like offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator kind of thing. It's we're going to work together on everything, and so far it's went really well. We communicate on everything and what we want to do, what the plan is every day, and what we want to accomplish. So it's worked really nice so far.
Peyton, Sarah, there are dreams and there are goals. Everybody dreams of winning a state title, everything that goes along with that. Your goals could be, we want to have more wins than last year. We want to win the CVC, whatever it is. But just what are your dreams? What are your goals?
I say, obviously everyone wants to go to states, and that's a really easy goal and dream to have. But I also think that we just want to take every game one step at a time, and we just want to become better players and become smarter players, and I think that's just a goal for us, is to just become better soccer players.
I completely agree with that. I think going to state finals has definitely always been a goal of mine since I was a freshman, but with this team, I really just want everyone to give it their all this year. It's my last year, and if everyone's doing their best, giving it their all, and we're working hard at every single game and give other teams a challenge, then that's all we can do. It's the best we can do.
And then lastly, just whoever wants to chime in, what is it going to take to turn those dreams into reality? I mean, everybody knows hard work, whatever, but you guys have some weaknesses you've got to tighten up a little bit. You've got some strengths you want to maximize, but how do you put it all together and, like I said, just make those dreams become a reality?
I think Peyton said it, that we're going to take this season one game at a time. We're going to be better tomorrow than we were today. We are going to continue to work on the fundamentals, and like Joe had said, he brings the technique and the tactics. We're going to become smarter soccer players, increase our soccer IQ, not looking beyond the next game, learning from, a loss, although I call them lessons, not losses, but, we'll learn from our lessons. And just really stay focused on what is it that we have to do today, not to look too far ahead in the future. But it's just, taking care of fundamentals and becoming smarter soccer players.
Sure. And I think a big thing this year is we've really kind of beefed up the schedule, especially with the non-conference games. It's probably the hardest schedule Chagrin Soccer's ever played. And I think the reason is, one, I think the team is going to be able to handle that, but it's really going to get us ready come playoff time to hopefully have a nice deep run.
I have to kind of chuckle at that when you say beef up the schedule. It's like, how much harder can it get? It's like talking to Braddock over there. It's like, well, I added Rocky River. Dude, have you seen your schedule already? But I mean, that's a good for the girls, how much do you enjoy that? Just knowing that, we're not going to go beat a team 9-0. We might lose one another, but how exciting is it just to know that you're going to be challenged that way?
I'd say that I think something that's really big for us is we want to teach these younger kids that not everything's about winning. It's not about winning every game 9-0, like you said. I think that something that's really important for us is to teach the girls that we need to believe in ourselves, and just because we have a hard schedule doesn't mean that we can't win or we can't go to states or whatever the case may be. It's going to make us a better team in the long run.
All right, well, that is the Chagrin Falls Tigers. Looking forward to seeing you guys in action a couple times this year. I know this division is going to be brutal. It's going to be fun. But thanks for making the trip out. I appreciate it, and good luck to you guys. That was the Chagrin Falls Tigers here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day here at Independence High School. Next up is going to be the Hawk and Hawks, so come on over and take your spot at on the hot seat over here, Hawken. Get started with the Hawks in one moment. Let me fix our graphics. One-man show here today. All right, so Hawk and Coach Wilbrandt, right? Okay, I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Should have asked you before, but okay, so the Hawk and Hawks. Coach, go ahead and introduce your players, and then just kind of give us a little recap or a little preview of the Hawks for the 2021 season. Yeah, absolutely. Mike, turn your switch. There you go.
Okay, and thanks for having us here today. It was fantastic. So I brought with me senior Elizabeth Stupica. She is one of our captains. And then junior Carmen Cicerini, who has been a 3-year letter winner for us. And Elizabeth is a 4-year letter winner for us. So they're representing the Hawks today. But I think overall our outlook's good. We have a fairly young team. We lost 5 starters to graduation, but that just creates more space and opportunity for other players to step up and really compete at their highest level. So that's really our outlook this year. Again, we have a tough schedule, a tough conference to battle in, but if we can come together and build that team chemistry, I think as a younger team, we're kind of setting the stage for what's to come and continue to build on the legacy of Hawkins soccer.
And this one goes to the players. Coach just mentioned that legacy of Hawkins soccer. I mean, when you talk about soccer, it's Chagrin, it's now Kirtland, who over the last 10 years has built that. It's Gilmore, it's NDCL. You guys are right in that discussion. Couple little valleys in your success timeline, but as the seniors, the veterans of the squad, how have you guys embraced your roles, and how are you kind of bringing those younger players along to kind of get to that level Hawkins known for?
I mean, I think we learn from other players. I learned from my sister who graduated last year, and we just take the lessons we learned there and we just build it into now what we practice, how we train, how we play in games, how we treat each other. And I think that helps us. Having been a 3-letter varsity player, it really helps to have that experience and then guide the younger players.
Just seeing how past upperclassmen that we had that were upperclassmen when we were freshmen and everything, just kind of seeing how they led the team and the environment they created. We're just kind of trying to recreate that and making sure that while we're focusing on doing good and winning games, that we're just kind of promoting a fun team environment.
Everybody's going to come into the season. They've got to replace some graduated seniors. They're going to have some new faces, maybe some lineup changes, maybe players, changing roles. What are some of the challenges that you guys have faced already, or you're going to face, and how do you plan to overcome them?
I can hop in first. I think, like I said, we have a younger team, and because we pull as an independent school, we pull from lots of different schools. A lot of what we have to focus on is bringing in girls who maybe have never played together before or don't know each other, and so that's a really important aspect of our preseason is really learning what does it mean to represent Hawken, what does it mean to wear the uniform and embody our Hawken principles, and so once we kind of build that foundation, then the technical piece is there. We work a lot on our technical aspect of our game. We like to play quick, 2-3 touch soccer and really possess. But I think overall, there are always going to be kind of those bigger shoes to fill, and that's just part of coaching at an independent school and going to an independent school.
When you look at the tactical side of things, what can you expect to see out of Hawken, both defensively, offensively? What do you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we like to play possession soccer. We like to play kind of quick on the ground style. A lot of runs off the top. We have a nice high target forward up there who's trying to create create opportunities for us. But really, I think it's kind of building on, again, our technical ability and making sure that everyone understands not just their position, but the person next to them and what they're supposed to be doing. So we talk a lot about doing a job and a half. So if you're doing your job and half is somebody else's, then we're going to compete.
I like that. Carmen, Elizabeth, just going into being veterans on the squad, what are the challenges you guys are going to face, and how are you ready for those? How do you plan to embrace that the hurdles you'll have to clear?
I think one of the big adjustments is just adjusting to new players and knowing how they play and kind of adjusting our formation. But that's also kind of the fun of playing soccer, is that you get to meet all these different people and their different talents. And we have a lot of young, talented players. And I think just through preseason, through training, through getting the work done and making sure that we're doing our best all the time, and we're also learning good things and bad things about each other, our strengths and weaknesses, I think that's how we overcome our challenges.
Yeah, I think the more we practice, we're gonna be able to understand how each other play and a lot of the new players and kind of what their role is gonna be on the team. So I think through preseason and the rest of our practices, we're gonna get stronger as a team and understanding how we play and everything.
We've already talked about the long success of Hawkins soccer, the history of Hawkins soccer. How do you plan to leave your mark on it? What do you hope to accomplish?
Senior?
Just we're not gonna win every game and stuff, and there's gonna be tough games, so probably just playing our hardest while we're on the field and leaving everything out there, because since it's my last year and everything, kind of taking every game and making sure that I'm trying my best and doing everything I can to help the team.
And then also, even though I still have another year to go, just also besides on the field, off the field, being that team player, being that teammate to go to, and really trying to make a connection between people, maybe something that other people outside of Hawken doesn't see, but making your mark on the people you play with is very important as well.
And Coach, I bring it up to everybody, just the CVC. When I first started covering high school sports, soccer was an afterthought, and you look at the girls that were in this room, and on the boys' side, the success of the CVC in soccer, it's just crazy. How cool is it to be part of that, and just to see the growth of, especially on the girls' side, just see soccer growing the way it has?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my third year as head coach here and fourth year living in Ohio. So I had a coach my first year from Southern Ohio tell me that it's easier for him to win a state championship than it is for him to come up to Northeast Ohio and win 2 or 3 games. So, that's just what's going to push us to get faster, stronger, more competitive up here. And I think overall, in terms of, the legacy of women's soccer in this area, I'm fortunate to have 2 alum who are coming back and joining my coaching staff. I have an all-women coaching staff, and I think that's really important for girls to see, what could be, and women supporting women. So that's kind of part of our own little legacy that we're building, but I think we're going to see that more and more in Northeast Ohio.
All right, sounds good. Well, I appreciate y'all making the trip out here. Best of luck to the Hawks this season. I'm sure I'll be at a few of your games, so I look forward to seeing you. But thanks again for coming out.
Okay, thank you.
That was the Hawken Hawks here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Next up, little team out of Kirtland called the Hornets, the defending Division III state champion Kirtland Hornets. There were 4 teams in Ohio that are entering this year with a winning streak going, and Kirtland is among them. So, Coach Braddock, I don't need introductions of your players. I know Corinne and Riley, but elevator pitch. Like I said, you're one of 4 teams in Ohio to be starting the year with a winning streak, and what you guys accomplished last fall, simply amazing. It was incredible to be on the sideline and just to watch that all happen. But as you and I have talked about over and over, that was last year. So heading into this year, it doesn't matter what happened last year. So elevator pitch.
Well, it does matter. In fact, I kind of liked how you started and said, defending state champs. It has a nice ring to it.
That it does.
Yes, it does. The elevator pitch is always the same. We start with good kids. Our senior class, again, this year is amazing. We have 7 girls that I think are, we have our captains, yes, but then we have the other girls that are going to come and they're going to join and they are going to lead, and that's where we start, and we build from there.
And when I said last year doesn't matter, it certainly matters. I mean, it doesn't matter come Friday night when you're at Eastlake North. They're not going to care that you are the state champs. You still have to score. You have to still stop them from scoring. But Riley and Corinne, I can't have a media day without recapping that fall season. And I know I didn't talk to you guys too much about that after you turned the page to basketball and then track. But, I mean, how cool is it to be one of 4 teams in Ohio to be starting the season with a win, from last year. Everyone else is on a losing streak. So you guys are coming in defending state champions. How cool is that?
It's on. Okay. It feels awesome.
It's on.
It feels awesome, like such a good feeling, but we know that obviously, that was last year, but we still need to kind of live up to that name and just work hard and try and show them that just because we lost seniors, it doesn't matter. They're still going to come out and play hard.
Yeah, it's a lot of good momentum coming into this year, and we want girls who are competing because they want to be part of that, and we want to be there again. So it's a good lead into our season this year as well.
You guys were little tykes when Kirtland really kind of started this run and developed a program that turned into a state championship program. How cool was it as little kids to kind of watch that, and now you're a part of it?
Oh, it's so good. Like watching my sister play when we were little, and then honestly, I didn't really understand because I was little. But when they were, we got to the Final Four for the first time, I was like, oh, okay. But then once we actually started going on that journey and the program started building, I know when she was a freshman and I was in 8th grade, I was like, wow, I can't wait to be a part of that.
Yeah, it was awesome seeing our sister Carrie's team make it to that Final Four. And then when I was in 8th grade, they made it to the state final. And then in my freshman year, I got to experience the state final, and it was amazing. And I couldn't wait to actually be an important part of the team and make it there and feel like I'm part of that.
And so this year, you're the 2020 state champ. So as I said, that doesn't matter for 2021 in terms of you've got to go out and win games. So as one of the senior leaders, how are you going to get your teammates to realize that, hey, we are state champions, but if we want to get back there, it's not going to be handed to us?
I think they already know that pretty much because we know we lost a lot of seniors. We know it's not going to be easy to make it there again, but everyone's competing. Everyone wants a spot on that field when we come to the state championship. Everyone wants to be there. So we're all going to work really hard, and I think we have a chance again.
Coach Braddock, you and I have talked over and over, and the expectations are one thing. So when we talk, well, gosh, you graduated a huge senior class, some really talented players. You're always the optimist. You know you have some really good players coming back, some really good talent coming back. But that's the expectation. But reaching that expectation, it's a completely different season, different dynamic. So how do you, over the years, you've learned to balance it, but how are you going to balance this year when the expectations are higher than they've ever been?
We returned 5 starters, and those 5 starters are critical to what we do. And I think each year we return 5 to 6 starters. And we talk about the graduation, and you can spend only so much time talking about that because now you have a whole new group of kids. And what we tell them is, look, last year was last year. Enjoy it, but now this is your legacy. This is a brand new team. This team has never played West Kyaga. This team has never played Chagrin Falls. This team has never played, the rest of Hawkins. So you have to step on, and you have to basically show what you're able to do as a group. So I think the expectations are there. If we lose a game, and we're going to lose a game. I mean, I think we talk about that all the time. If you go through the season undefeated, well, that's amazing, but the pressure builds. So somewhere in there, we're going to lose a game. We're going to play close games, and we would rather lose 1-0 than win 10-0. And I think that's why we schedule the teams that we schedule. So I don't know that there's this pressure that everybody talks about. We're going to go, we're going to play, and again, we talk about it in our community, whether it's the football team or our team or whatever team it is that's competing. You need skill, you need kids that can play, you need a little bit of luck along the path, and you need to make sure nobody gets injured. And if you can do those 3 things, you're going to get pretty far.
everybody knows about Erica Chippa. They're going to man mark her. They're going to do everything they can. She's still going to do her stuff.
I was told West Jogga will have nothing. So they're fine. They're going to leave. We're not going to worry about Frankie. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to worry about Frankie. Yes, we know. Everybody knows who everybody is in a way. But I think we've addressed that already. We've talked about what we will do. I mean, look, she was the Division III Player of the Year. I firmly believe has the potential to be Miss Ohio, and she will attract a lot of attention. But I don't know that that's too much pressure for her either. I mean, it's just. I'm thinking of Corey when Corey played. She knows what that's like. So I'm excited for her actually, because I think she's taken on a whole different role, and I think these two would agree with me. Like her leadership, it's a scary actually. I mean, we've got 3 captains, and I say the one captain you shouldn't listen to is Erica a lot of times. On the field, yes. Off the field, probably not. But she's exciting to watch.
My question related to her was, people are going to give her attention. Well, that's going to open up the door for some others. And I know you got a couple new faces, younger kids that are going to have their opportunity. You've got Riley and Corinne and other kids that it could be their opportunity to really shine now. And who do you expect to kind of take advantage of that?
Right now, I think you mentioned Riley, and then we bring in some other new players. But I don't know. I really don't. I think it'll play itself out. I do know that obviously she's going to attract attention, but she's still going to find ways to score, and she'll have a supporting cast, and I think it's a strong supporting cast that will help us along the way.
The other big hole you have to fill is at goalkeeper, and it just seems that you're like goalkeeper high school. Like when you talk about like tight end U or whatever, or quarterback you just always seem to have, going back to Maddie Zuber and beyond, and you just have had kids step up. This year, I believe it's going to be a freshman, and so she's going to have her ups and her downs, but how is she going to handle the pressure?
I think the pressures will be there no matter what we do. But I think where she's going to gain her best support will be from the senior class. Riley's going to go to her. She's going to make a mistake. We know she'll make a mistake. It was no different than when we had Maddie, or we had Gabby, or we had Corinne. And we've had 3, a decade worth of quality goalkeepers. And I don't see why that'll change. It's just that she's going to come in a little bit younger, and we'll build around her, and that's our whole goal. Corinne will be most likely in the back, and she's going to be vocal. She's going to be incredibly helpful as well. You throw Macy McIntosh back there with her, you kind of listen to Macy. So we know going in she's going to have support, and it'll be the whole team that will support her.
Going back to the girls for a minute, you guys are 4 and 5 sport athletes. It's pretty impressive, and that's kind of that small school formula to be successful. Is you've got to play soccer, you've got to play basketball, you got to play softball or run track, and for you guys, you thrive on it, and so many girls on your team thrive on being multi-sport athletes. How much does that play into it? Just mentally, the mental toughness, the physical attributes, how does that play into it?
It's super important for us because we don't have a team of 11 soccer players. We have a couple soccer players and a lot of athletes, and we got girls who could win balls because they're so strong. We have girls who are a lot smarter because they play all these other sports, and I think that's super important for us and what helps us out a lot. And they're all super competitive, so.
Yeah, and also we're spending year round with these girls. We're building a deeper connection, whether it's playing soccer or basketball, because all the games are kind of alike, So when we form connections on the field or on the court, we're going to carry them through the rest of our high school careers.
And Coach, this last one for you is just going back to the CVC and just the growth. You and I have been talking soccer for a decade now, and I've learned more from you about area soccer than I have from covering it, but just seeing the growth in teams. West Jogga has become a power. Hawkins been a power. Chagrin Falls has been a powerhouse. Berkshire came out as a regional type of team. Independence, Kyaga Heights has been, just this conference as a whole. How cool is that, just to have such a collection of quality soccer teams in one conference?
I think we talked. I think going back all the way to 2013, we've had a team that represented us, except for 1 year in there, in Columbus. Whether it was Hawkins, Kirtland, Chagrin, and West Jogga is now part of that mix. They get out, and what's really great about the Chagrin Valley Conference, I think, in a lot of respect, is that we actually have a genuine we like each other. I mean, I don't know if you find that in all these other conferences. Like, I'll talk to Corey. I mean, wishing her luck as she makes it to regional. Pam Malone at Chagrin Falls, and I can go down the list. As long as you've been there, it is one of the best soccer conferences in the state of Ohio. I joke sometimes that it's easier for us to get far into the tournament than it is for us to win the Chagrin Valley Conference, because we're the smallest of that group. But man, we love the challenge, and we love the fact that we're able to play those games week in and week out.
Outstanding. Well, Kirtland Hornets, congratulations again on that run last year. It's still not too many days I go by I don't think about it. That was so cool, and great shirt design, by the way. I don't know where that came from, but thanks for coming out, making the trip. I will see you next Friday. That was the Kirtland Hornets here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Up next, if you saw Coach Braddock laughing and looking to his right when talking about West Kyaga, that's why. The West Kyaga Wolverines are now on the hot seat. Coach Corey over there having a fist fight with Coach Braddock. So we'll I know she would win. All right, so West Kyaga, Coach, I'm going to call you Coach J because if I say it, I'll embarrass myself. Oh, you got to flip your switch on there. There you go.
Jasinovic.
See, it sounds so easy, but then my brain and my mouth don't always work well together. So, Coach J, it is. But go ahead, introduce your players, and then just kind of, that elevator pitch. Just a couple, brief statement on what you're looking for out of your team this year.
Well, we have Ray Airbar, who is our returning starter and now senior, as well as returning captain, sitting next to me, as well as Frankie Flesher, who is going to be a junior this coming fall season. Once again, stalwart, amazing player, and going to be looking to see some great things from these two, especially on the field together. So I think that, this year we lose some really great talent in some of our seniors in, Nicola Airbar, Ray's older sister, and in Bailey and Aubrey Zanella. Those were kind of our spine of our team, but we still return 8 starters. So in looking at that outline, I don't really see, there being as much struggle as in some years, although those players are extremely talented. I think that they left an amazing legacy for these other girls to follow in the footsteps and really define the potential of our team this year.
Last year was a unique year in so many ways. Obviously, COVID changed the way you had to coach and do other things, but you were patrolling the sidelines 7 or 8 months pregnant, I believe. So a lot of distractions, and not saying that your baby was a distraction, but this year it's the kids now driving and on the way to college already. That's how fast it goes. But now you get that focus is all on the team. And how different do you expect to coach this year, if at all?
Every year has its challenges, and I give my girls a lot of the life lessons through the sport of soccer. And my biggest one, for this year, kind of in following last year, is really control what you can control. There's going to be things that are out on the field that we're going to be able to take by the horns, and there's going to be certain things that we're not going to be able to, but we can't put our focus and our efforts on those things that don't really sway the game, that we don't have control over. It's about what can I do today that's going to help me and my team tomorrow, and if we can improve as individuals, then overall that we raise that bar on our team and our standard.
Ray, you're a senior? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's gone so fast. But this is going to be a little different for you because you've pretty much played your entire life with your sister on the team, and she graduated. So how different is it going to be for you, and how much are you looking forward to this year?
Well, it's already been very different, like starting with the summer practices and everything, but I'm definitely getting used to it. It's just so weird, though, because I've played with her literally my whole life, so it'll definitely be different, and it'll be a challenge, too, just not having her presence, but I'm very excited and, excited to try it on my own, too.
And, Frankie, I don't know that there are too many athletes that I would put above you. I mean, you're just an incredible athlete, from softball to soccer that I've seen you playing. It's fun to watch. I love the way you play. What inspires you just to kind of go, you'll put your head through a wall if your coach asked you to. What drives that?
I think it's the
I do it for my team. I really don't like to let people down. So having like my team behind me and just the idea of letting them down, that just doesn't sit well with me. So I'll do anything in my power to make sure that we go as far as we can go.
Losing the three seniors that Coach mentioned, that's a big core of your team, but you guys have plenty of talent, and especially with you up on the top, you're hard to guard. They could put 4 players on you, you're going to beat them. But how has that changed the way you have to approach the season, just knowing that you're going to have to do a little bit more? I think it was Hawkins' coach that said you had to do a job and a half.
Yeah, I think just remembering like what they did and using that as motivation also, like to almost fill the role that they played, that's like a huge, like I said, like just motivation for me. So I will do anything I can to make sure that I do that, and if it means doing everything extra, I'll do it.
The last 3 teams I think we talked to have all won state titles, and they're all in the same division: Hawken, Kirtland, and Chagrin. I mean, and then you've got Geneva, you've got Berkshire, you've got Independent, all these CVC teams that have just made this conference brutal. And I know you guys don't play a lot of them, but how cool is it to know that you're going to go play a conference game that could be the same intensity level as a state tournament game, that kind of thing?
I love it because I just think it prepares us so much for like the postseason, and like we're really big on that. Like we like a tough schedule, just anything to prepare us enough for the postseason. And I think the CVC does a great job with that.
And knowing your dad and just his competitiveness, and Frankie watching you play, I mean, you don't get that competitiveness in everybody. And just to have a solid core coach, how cool is it just to know that you've got some kids that you lost some real competitive kids, but you have some coming back?
Well, that's what high school is all about. I mean, high school is really just about going out there and being extraordinary athletes and driving every single day to be better than the day before. You play with a new team every single year, so whether you have the same formation or you don't, you have to learn how everybody else works, and there's going to be some massaging at the beginning of the season to figure out those kinks, but hopefully you hit stride at the right time and you stay on the accelerator through the important games. So, we all talk about wanting to have undefeated seasons or wanting to, come out of the CVC, but ultimately you look at approaching the whole season and preparing for the playoffs. There's teams in our CVC that won't win the CVC that'll win a state title too. And that just goes to show you that, number one, we're challenging each other in this area of Ohio. I fully believe, along with with what Coach Braddock said, that we have one of the best conferences in the state. So when you look at our competition and you look at the level that these girls from different schools are putting against each other, it's just exciting. It's exciting to watch. It's exciting to be a part of. And as a former player, I just I almost envy those days too. So I think that those girls are all of the girls in our CVC are doing a really great job to prepare each other for this for the tournament. And I'm extremely excited to see what our girls are going to do and how they're going to turn up the volume here.
You mentioned that you were a player, and that was a nice segue into my next question. I was going to ask, a lot of times you see a team will take on the identity of its coach. And in your case, that's a good thing because of that competitive fire you played with. Do you see that in your team?
I think the biggest thing with it is in becoming a coach, kind of transitioning from the field into being a coach, you have to realize that everybody plays with a different mentality. And how do you take all those different mentalities and mesh them into one machine? In my first couple years coaching, I struggled with that because the way I coached was the way I like to be spoken to and talked to and motivated, but that doesn't work for everybody. And so, as a coach, I've had to do a lot more in trying to understand my players better, connect with them more, and a lot of times that means stepping back and allowing my assistant coach and Danny Capalucci to step forward. I attribute a lot of the technical ability that these girls get to his coaching as well. But it's, I think, our dichotomy and being able to work together that has really brought these girls to a different level. And I'm always happy to put my 2 cents in and my experiences, but really it's them creating their own legacy. So for me, it's just really fun to see how I can encourage them and influence them. But a lot of times, as I said, sometimes that's me stepping back and letting somebody else take those reins.
Sage advice for young coaches and old alike is that you can't coach everybody the same way, and you've learned that early on. Some coaches learn it later, but great advice. But girls, I'll leave this one for you guys. We talked about dreams and goals. Everybody dreams of winning a state title. It could be your goal as well, but what are your goals and what's it going to take to accomplish them this season?
Within winning and losing, game wise, our goals are, one of the goals that I'd like for our team is definitely to win the CVC or defend it for 2 years. So, and then another one that I think is really important is making sure that everyone's improving along the way. We don't want to settle, and make sure that we keep our standards high and not ever losing that high standard, and making sure everyone is doing their part.
Yeah, like what she said, we're focusing on not only raising the lower bar this year, but also raising the top bar. So everyone on the team is always continuing to improve throughout the whole season.
All right. Thank you very much for making the trip out. I appreciate it, and best of luck to you. I know I'll be at a couple of your games. Those are I was out at the Kirtland game last year. It was fantastic. So good stuff, but good luck to you guys, and thanks for coming out. That was the West Kyaga Wolverines here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Up next, we are going to have the Geneva Eagles. And Don Lewis, the commissioner of the CVC, is now in the house. All right, Geneva Eagles, 1 second, and there we go. Okay, Geneva, Coach, girls, thanks for coming out. Coach, what I've been doing is just having the coach introduce his players and just give a little elevator pitch. What can we expect out of Geneva this season?
Well, I think Geneva is going to be it's going to be a transition year. This is my first year coaching. I'm replacing Coach Dudek, who did a good job of really making a pretty good soccer culture in Geneva. We're trying to take all of the positives that he instilled in the program and keep them going forward. I have all of the assistant coaches that were there for him coming back and helping me, and I'm learning from them what they did that was successful in the past and trying to use that in my scheme of things. But the players are the real star of the show here, and I brought Kylie and Cassie, that they're returning seniors and they're impactful players not only on the pitch but in the locker room, that I lean on a lot to try to tell me what I don't know, what I'm missing. But it's just an exciting time for Geneva. It feels transitional, but we do have 5 starters that are returning. We did lose 4 seniors in key positions that we're excited to see who rises up to fill those voids, but just look forward to having a great season.
You talked about the graduated seniors. You do return 4 with all-conference selections from last year. So that's a nice solid core to build from. You're going to have to develop some new faces, but how key is it to have those kids with that experience at that high level?
Oh yeah, it's awesome, and it makes me feel so lucky to walk into a position like that where we have such a talented group of hardworking girls that are just hungry to go after it, and they train hard and they study and they practice and they focus. So I couldn't ask for a better situation to be in.
And a lot of that leadership's going to fall on your 2 seniors here. And Kylie, I got to see you play this summer with the Croatia Juniors, so I know you challenged yourself this summer playing in the WPSL, playing against most of the kids that are already 2 or 3 years into their college careers. So as a leader coming into this season, how have you kind of embraced that role, and what are you looking forward to?
It's great, just leading the team and trying to push everyone to do their hardest on and off the field. It's really great.
Cassie, as a senior, again, a lot of new faces are going to be in the lineup. You play in a competitive league. You guys won it 2 years ago, right? So you want to bring that back? I mean, what's it going to take for you as a senior leader to kind of get everybody else, not only yourself, in the right mindset, but for everybody else?
Definitely to be encouraging and positive with all the new players we have this year, and to push them to do their best, because I know we'll be pushing each other to play with all our heart and just inspire people.
New coach, you got a lot of new faces in the lineup on top of that. So how are you guys kind of putting it all together, where you've got to teach the younger kids how to kind of come in and take care of their business on a daily basis, while also learning how to adapt to a new coaching system, a new style, and maybe different tactics?
It's hard, but I think we're becoming closer as a team, more like a family, and that helps. We can go to each other and we're not afraid to talk to each other about stuff. And so it just makes it easy, even though we have each other.
And then Kylie, everybody knows who you are. They know that you're one of the primary goal scorers. You're going to get a lot of additional attention this year. How have you prepared yourself to kind of deal with that extra attention? And without giving away secrets, how do you plan to kind of combat that?
Just staying humble and trying to push others the way that I push myself in the game, and just getting closer as a team overall.
Coach, looking at the Eagles this year, again, new coaching style, new coaching tactics. What do you hope to accomplish out there? What do you look to do on defense, offense? Or you kind of sit back and wait, or you attack?
Well, we want to play possession with purpose. We want to build an attack. Possess the ball and to play simple soccer away from pressure and to score. We need to work as a team, playing just fundamentals, just basics, just touching the ball away from pressure, being there, good movement off the ball. My soccer philosophy is pretty simple. You get the ball, you build it up with purpose, and you finish. And when it doesn't go right, you recover. We play hard at all four phases of the soccer game and just try to leave nothing, control what we can and overcome what we can't.
Girls, what has been the biggest challenge to developing under a new coach this year? You go from a style you're used to, and now everything's changed, and next week you got to put it in action.
Just pushing your team as hard as you can.
It is hard adjusting, because it's two different coaching styles. So just having each other and being encouraging helps a lot, and just everybody trying their best and pushing each other. I mean, that's all we can really do.
Coach kind of mentioned it, that Geneva's kind of developing a little bit of a legacy, and as seniors, you guys have a chance to leave a bigger footprint. What do you hope to accomplish this year?
We want to win every game that we possibly can, work the hardest out of everyone.
Just give it our all every game and work our hardest.
Coach, how do you measure success? I mean, everybody wants to win a state title. Everybody wants to win the conference title. You want to win all your games, but, a team could go 2-14 and consider it a success. What's success to you?
Sure. Winning is a big part of success, but learning, growing, and building up, rising up as a team, picking each other up in places where we're flat, being respectful of the game of soccer, being prepared, treating each other appropriately, all the good lessons that you can learn from interscholastic sports. I think that if you learn those in the course of a season, it was a success. Obviously, the W is a big part of that too. So we're going to do our hardest to try to chase down all of our goals.
All right, and then girls, just looking at your teammates that aren't here, you're going to have to count on them. Who do you guys see as breakout players this year for Geneva? Who's going to surprise everybody?
I think our back line is really strong this year. We'll get stronger throughout each game, but I think our back line will really surprise everyone.
Yeah, we do have a couple of freshmen who have been stepping up and filling the places that we lost seniors on our defensive line. And I do think that we can do a lot this year.
And then whoever wants to answer this one, I've asked everybody. I mean, just the CVC it was always a strong boys soccer conference, and when you look at the last 10, 12 years, just the way that it's developed on the girls' side, how cool is that just to be a part of? And just to, as every coach that sat here before said, it's probably one of the toughest girls' soccer conferences in the state.
I think it's awesome. I didn't have a big preseason time when I got hired, and when I started doing my research on where I'm at coaching, it was exciting because you are only as good as where you play, and it's an exciting opportunity for us to have such a challenging conference because that's how we grow as our own team.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you guys making the trip out here. Best of luck to you and the rest of the Eagles, and good luck this season. All right, that was the Geneva Eagles here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Up next is going to be the Metro Division. We are going to take a quick break so that I can fill in all the coaches on how all of this is going to shake out, but we will be back within a few minutes. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to the 2021 Chagrin Valley Conference Girls Soccer Media Day. Next up are the Brooklyn Hurricanes here to lead off the Metro Division slate. I got Coach Allison Rafter. Coach, I'm going to let you introduce the players you brought and then also kind of give us a little elevator pitch of what we can expect out of the Hurricanes this year.
Okay, great. We have junior forward Delaney David, and we have senior midfielder Emily Gary. As far as the season goes, we have been working very hard. We're a very small school. We only have 16 players, all of it which are on our varsity team. And I guess I want to say the good thing about when we had COVID is that everybody wanted to get out of the house and come to practice, and these girls, typically they don't miss practices. So this year we started off training in the springtime, and we moved into summer and went into our summer league that we play in. Went into the showcase at Strongsville, and we did very well. We're scoring more goals than we have in the past, but it's taken us about 8 years to get to where we are, and we're looking forward to having a great season.
Well, part of the high school sports experience is kind of developing a legacy. So it's kind of nice that if you guys can be on that team that turns things around for Brooklyn. So let's start there. Delaney, I remember your name from Player of the Week and that kind of thing. So I'm kind of familiar with your game already. So how excited are you for a new season?
I'm very excited because, like she said, we all think we could have a pretty good season. We just all have to stay focused and motivated. But yeah, I think we could have a pretty good season this year.
And then Emily, Coach mentioned it. You're a small school, 16 players. It's a negative to some people. For some people, it's a positive because you have 16 people that are committed, 16 people you get to know and develop and gel together with. So from your perspective, is it a negative or a positive?
Oh, I think it's definitely a positive because, if you look at it, with having less girls, you get to spend more time with each girl individually and work on their strengths and build up their weaknesses into strengths. But we have a couple freshmen coming up and we get to work with them more, so it's not just they're getting pushed off to the side. So we get to work on previous players and developing players at the same time.
What has been the biggest challenge of this season? Last year, we all know COVID changed everything. You had to work around it. It just changed the way we approach practice and games. But this year, what have the challenges been?
I would say the biggest challenge would be we did lose a couple seniors last year, and they were key components, but like I said, we have those freshmen coming up and they can definitely fill those spots. We're looking pretty good for this season, but COVID was a weakness from last year. But this year I don't really see any big challenges for our team.
Coach, looking tactically, you have offensive styles, defensive styles. What do you like to do? Are you on the attacking side? Do you take chances? You conservative?
I would say I'm more of a conservative type of coach, but with only having 16 players, I really stress the girls have to have, they have to attack and they have to play defense. So I think what's really changed for us too is that, sometimes on some teams you have forwards or midfielders, they just get their mindset, attack. Well, when you transition out, you got to play defense. And I think for us, some of the things that we've been working on, we've had some gaps in the middle of the field, covering 20-25 yards. And in our play that we had during the summer league and in the showcase, we've shortened that gap, which is good for us. And we practice 2 hours a day, and we do a lot of small-sided games where I'm able to stop and instruct, and it's clicking. These, the athletes that I have, they're really good student athletes, which I really admire from them. But they, they listen and they apply whatever we're doing. So I think, that's the big thing, not just listening, but applying to game situations. You brought two of your best with you. Who else can we expect to kind of step out? With 16 girls, you need everybody, but you also know there are going to be, these are the dangerous goal scorers. These are the girls you can count on defense to pick up a step when they need it. Who do you look for? So one of our best defender is Jada Dominguez, and she's a 4-year starter, all about 5'1", okay? Faster than lightning, and Jada has played that position since her freshman year. She anchors our defense, and she does a great job. We've had the opportunity to have the same goalkeeper now for the last 2 years, and she's been working really hard during the off season. And the girls, feel very comfortable after having, somebody ahead of her for so long. So they feel very comfortable. We also have some freshmen that they're training at a high level with us, and they're looking really good. So we're hoping to advance farther than we did last year. We made it to the district semifinals, with the district being blown up last year and keeping it this year. We beat Loudonville in a double overtime, in a penalty kicks, and very cool. We went down to Loudonville to play. So I asked them to come up. So we start on Friday, on Football Friday. Awesome. Loudonville's coming to us. I think it's important that we play not just teams in our conference. Our conference is great. We love being in this conference because they're very competitive teams, and that's what I want my players to play against, competitive teams. But I also went and picked teams that we typically probably wouldn't play, but since our district's so big, we do play Loudonville, we play Mapleton, we play Crestwood. Like, I think it's that important so that other teams can see what's up here and I can see what's in South Canton or whatever, Ashland, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And girls, Coach kind of touched on it already, but I was going to ask, you guys are one of the newer schools in the CVC. How cool has that been to kind of, you're playing Brooklyn Heights and Kyaga Heights or a community, you're playing Independence, some of these schools that, have been in the area that you only saw in the postseason, now they're conference games. How different has that been, and is it fun? Do you like it?
It is a lot different than teams we have played before, but I do like it a lot, and I think everybody else can agree with me. It's more fun to play different competition, but teams that are closer around us, and I think the competition is good for us as well.
I also think it's fun because, like, you could stop. Sorry. Like my coach said, you could see like what's around us, and like even if they're far away, it's just different competition than what we had before in the other conference. So yeah, I like this conference. It's competitive.
So Coach talked a little bit about a goal of you want to get further in the postseason than you did last year. What about you guys? What is your goal individually and as a team?
I think we all have the mindset, especially the girls from last year. We all have the mindset of wanting to go farther than what we did last year because we did end on a strong note. But I think we could have went farther than what we did. But I think we could go farther this year, and I think that's all of our goals.
I agree completely with her because last season we got a little bit of taste of like how it feels to go farther than we usually would, and I think all of us definitely do want to go farther. But yeah. I think it's going to be a good season for us, and I hope that we do get to go farther than we did last year.
Outstanding. Well, I appreciate you guys making this long drive out here from Brooklyn. So glad it was at least in your neighborhood. So some of the teams weren't as fortunate, but appreciate you coming out. Best of luck to the Hurricanes this year.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, girls. That was the Brooklyn Hurricanes here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Next up, we are going to welcome over the Beechwood Bison. Coach Raponi and squad. That's okay. Just squeeze them in. We'll make it work. I might be at my limit of remembering names, though. 1 or 2, I'm good. 3 might be questionable. So. All right, so Beechwood, second year for Coach Raponi. Did I say that right? Okay, just want to make sure. But I know we talked on the phone, but didn't address your last name. But so Coach Raponi and 3 of the Bison are here. Really a strong squad over the last few years. Last year, Coach's first year, some differences. COVID manipulated the season a little bit. So all kinds of weird stuff happened last year. And this year you bring back a good core group. But Coach, go ahead and introduce your players and then give us your quick preview of the 2021 season. What can we expect out of Beechwood this year?
All right, very good. Thank you. So I have a junior with me over here. I have Brianna, and then I have 2 seniors I brought, Allison and Romy. All 3 are returning starters for our varsity team, very strong players. I think they'll represent our team very well. What to expect for 2021? We did lose a lot of talent over the year, and so these girls, along with a few of our other starters, are going to have to wear multiple hats. They're going to have to play different positions. They're going to have to kind of pick up that slack where we lost it. But we do have a very large incoming freshman group, along with a few other players from out of state. So it's fun and unique. We're actually going to double the size of our roster this year. So I'm expected to have about 40 girls, so full JV and varsity team. But there's a lot of development that needs to happen. So excited for the challenge, but it is going to be a little bit of a challenge with these girls not all playing together. A lot of new faces, different experiences, etc. So we'll see how it works, but I think we're going to have a lot of movement, a lot of learning, and hopefully a lot of growth.
Romy, I've watched you play. I've covered a couple of your games. I've written about you a lot, so it's nice to see your talent precedes you. But second year going into coach's system, a little bit more confidence, a little more familiarity. How excited are you for this season?
Yeah, I'm super excited for the season. I can't wait to get back into it. Maybe like a little bit more of a normal year than last year. So yeah.
2 years ago, I think it was you guys went and won the Metro Division title, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of girls are still on the team,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that experience and just going in now, you guys are seniors and upperclassmen. A couple years ago, you were the freshmen, wide-eyed. Now you have to teach the younger kids. How's that going? How have you guys kind of embraced the roles as leaders?
Yeah, we have a lot of freshmen, a lot of young people on the team, and it's just exciting to get them into the groove of stuff, get the team going. Yeah, it's been fun.
What are some of the biggest challenges you guys have faced early on so far? I don't want it. You take it.
I think.
Is it on? It should be up. There you go. Yeah, and just put it like around your chin. There you go.
Some of the challenges I think we faced is having so many freshmen. Even like, it's a good thing, but it's also challenging because there's so many new players we have to learn how to work with and teach them like the difference between like varsity and JV rather than like middle school soccer.
That taste of success a couple years ago, winning the conference. How do you get that back? What's it going to take this year?
Yeah, it was it was a great feeling. Just keep the energy up, keep the attitudes high, keep it going. Don't give up. Even if we lost some players, it's okay. I think we can still do great and have a great year.
From a player's perspective, what are the strengths of the team this year?
Well, we do have our returning varsity players, and also I think mostly just the mentality that we have going into it right now. We do have a lot of freshmen and like new players, so it's a developing team and it's going to be a developing season. So there isn't going to be a lot of like technical strengths, but it's a lot of mental and emotional strength that we have in our team coming into the season.
And then weaknesses, I don't want you to give away any secrets, but obviously every team's going to have a weakness and you've got to find creative ways to either hide it or fix it. But how do you guys kind of go about developing all those areas of the game?
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of team exercises, a lot of getting to know each other. There's a lot of skill work and conditioning that needs to be done. Speed isn't up to date because, again, a lot of freshmen used to middle school game of play, and we have to get that developed and everything.
And Romy, individual goals for you. I mean, I know you're a goal scorer. Your eyes light up every time you see it, but what are you hoping to accomplish this year?
Yeah, I'm hoping to score some goals, but also feed my players, get the ball up on the other team's half most of the game. Try not to keep it in our half of the field a lot. And yeah.
Pass it right down the line. What kind of individual goals do you guys have for the season?
Well, I think like my individual goal would be to help develop the team, leave a good legacy for the grades behind, keep the development going. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, of course, like scoring, assists, but yeah.
For me, since I have another year after this year, one of my goals is to make sure that all the freshmen are involved with the upperclassmen and the JVs involved with the varsity because they will end up moving up with us within the next couple of years, and making sure that we have that chemistry built before we really need to have it.
Coach, you've got to work on the fly. You don't have time to wait for the freshmen and the sophomores to learn and do all that. You're going to have to throw them right in the fire. How do you best prepare them, though? What can you do to just give them a little bit of confidence before it all matters?
I think you said it best. You just throw them right in the fire. I think they know. I'm pretty direct. I'll let them know when they're doing well and when they're not doing well, and they've adapted to that already. And you have seen some of the intensity already change with some of these girls from the first time they were out there real timid, scared. Hey, we just kind of throw them in there. Let them get beat up a little bit. It's okay. Let them get hit. Let them get used to what it's going to feel like when a senior from another school goes and hits you hard. So I think they're starting to learn that. They're seeing how these girls play. They had a little bit of a taste of the hard work that they have to put in at a tournament about 2 weeks ago. So they're learning, you know what I mean? And that's the best way you can do it, is just get out there and play and not sugarcoat it. I don't sugarcoat much, so.
when you look at your team, there's strengths, there's weaknesses. How do you kind of take the best of both and make it all work? What are you looking to do this year?
It's a chess game, right? So there's constant movement of pieces. You're going to have to change each game based on the match at hand and who you're playing, and that's what I was saying. They're going to have to wear multiple hats, so just kind of really be leaning heavy on my seniors, on my returning starting varsity players to fill in those different roles. One of the biggest weaknesses, unfortunately, is we lost a key goalkeeper, right? So getting her confidence up, she is a good keeper, but we have to get her confidence up, and the way you do that is by having a strong defense and having a solid midfield and then a supportive offensive line. We have to get the ball up front because we got to score goals. You can't constantly be, having shots taken on your keeper. That's going to beat up any keeper regardless of their skill. So I think that's kind of my biggest thing, is keeping my keeper in good health and confident. And like I said, relying on these girls' knowledge of the game to do their thing out there.
All right, and then just lastly for the seniors, you want to leave behind a legacy. What do you hope it is?
A great team and a great program.
Yeah, same thing. Again, develop a good team and teach the girls how to play and like the rules and the speed of the game and everything.
Leave the program better off than when you found it, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, well, that's the Beechwood Bison. I thank you all for coming out, and good luck to you this year. That was the Beechwood Bison here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Next up is going to be the Kyaga Heights Redskins. One of my all-time favorite coaches. Can't say her last name, but I call her Coach Z. It's easier to just call her Christy, but... All right, so let me change our graphic here to get Kyaga Heights on the board. All right, Kyaga Heights, Coach Christy, Coach Z, Zawadsky.
My poor kids have dealt with it their whole
life. I know. But thanks for being here, ladies. Coach, I've had all of the coaches kind of introduce the players that they brought with them and then just give us their little elevator pitch. Just what can we expect out of Kyaga Heights this year?
Okay. So I brought with me today 2 seniors. We have Lily Frank, who will be our goalkeeper this year. She has basically bided her time helping us out the last 3 years as a midfielder, and finally with the graduation of Megan Ellis, Lily gets to go to her passion, her love, which is in the goal. We also brought Regan Sturgill, who I think everybody knows Regan from Kyaga Heights. She
I thought she was like 28 by now.
I know. But yep, bring in finally her senior season. She's here to hopefully accomplish more this year than she has continued to accomplish every year.
I actually remember the first time I saw Regan play. I believe it was right here in a playoff game against Kirtland, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that wasn't her first game. It was the first time I saw her.
That's funny you said that, because when we were walking in, Ed Braddock was walking out, and he looked at her and he said, "Oh, all I can remember is that game, game."
Yeah, it was a heck of a game. But yeah, so I know you well, Regan, but I have always called you Reagan, but good to know I had it wrong. See, I can't pronounce anything, so. But all right, so let's get started. Lily, I'm going to start with you, since, that's a big move to change positions, especially when you go from midfield where your mistakes aren't as important as when you're a goalkeeper. If you make a mistake, it could be devastating. But how are you handling that role mentally, physically?
So I've played club and started with rec, went to club, and I was playing goalie for probably 5 years before I came to varsity Kyaga Heights soccer. So it was kind of more rough shifting from goalie to mid, which I didn't like as much, but I wanted to do it for my team. And then I've just been waiting for this for so long. I'm nothing but excited.
Coach, don't you just love it when players say, "I wanted to do it for the team"?
Yes, I did.
Did you pay her to say that? Twisted, no arm twisting? But no, that was great. Regan, so yeah, senior year, it seems like it went that fast, but it also seems like you've been around forever, just because your name's constantly out there. Anytime I talk to coaches, well, we got to watch for Regan. You hear about you all the time. So senior year, does it seem like it went that fast for you?
It really did. It's surreal, like having Brooke Wilson as a senior your freshman year,
and having her to look up to, and now you are that for the the underclassmen. It's surreal.
It does. I look over there. There's Alex Ada. I remember watching her as a freshman. It's like, wait, it's her senior year too. It's like it goes so fast.
Yeah.
But I keep, I'm the same age I was 10 years ago. So for me, time stands still. But so girls, just going into this season, obviously you always know about your neighborhood rival over there to your right, Independence. You've got a lot of teams, Beechwood's back in the Metro. So it's a competitive division. It's a competitive league. What's it going to take for you guys to come out on top?
So we put a lot of work into the season through the summer too, and then we've always had a very coachable team. Making sure we have fun and keeping the morale up. As long as we are working together and working as hard as we can and embracing the passion of the team. That was our theme last year, and we've carried it into this year. I think that is what is going to lead to our biggest successes during the season.
Yeah, for sure. There's teams that will outskill us, out-talent us, but we have the willpower and we have the fitness level to stick with them, which in the end will let us come out on top. So.
Cuyahoga Heights as a whole has had some really good teams, not just soccer, but boys football obviously has been at an elite level for many years. The softball team went back to the state championship game this year. They won it under Coach Z a few years ago. I mean, does that kind of build up? I mean, do you feel a little bit of pressure that you've got to raise your level of play to kind of meet the expectations at Heights?
I would say so. When you walk through the halls, you know who the football boys are, and everyone looks at the girls soccer team and okay, there's the girls soccer team. That's who you want to be. That's who everyone looks up to. If you're an underclassman, you come to school and haven't specialized in one sport, you're why not try soccer? Because everyone knows how tight-knit our bond is, and because the girls are always together. So it's just it's a family, and yeah.
And for a small school, we've always had very good coaching. It's hard to create good teams, especially in all of the different sports with the population that we have. So, I mean, under Z's leadership, we've just had such good experience to be able to do what we do.
I'm touched they're saying these things because, this morning at 7 a.m. when they were running their sprints, I don't know if that was what they were thinking. But I would like to add that playing at Kyaga Heights and coaching at Kyaga Heights, it's a very unique place. Being in a small school, and Brian can attest with Independence, the support we get from all the other sports, we have football players at our games. I mean, we have a great support base, not only in all the other students, athletes, but the staff, the other coaches. It's just, we have an incredible AD and Ryan Kelber. The support is just top to the bottom, and we're very lucky for that. We're very lucky for everything that we have.
When you look at what it's going to take this year for you to be successful, what are you guys going to have to accomplish on the offensive end and the defensive end just to kind of make everything flow together?
Well, we're still trying to figure that out, actually. But like Regan and Lily said, we're not as skilled as most teams. We have one or two club players here or there. But we work hard, and like they said, we condition hard, and they're wearing it on their shirt. We have a lot of passion for when we play and what we do. So they develop a trust in each other, and when they go out on that field, they know that they're going out on that field and trying to be successful for each other. I love it. I mean, I don't care if we win. Well, of course, everybody would love to win, but to me, it's more about them becoming teammates to each other and becoming better people and dealing with ups and downs and just being successful in the real world. So we have great leadership this year, and I think we're gonna be successful in ways more than just on the field.
Interesting you mentioned that, because it segued right into my next question. Is obviously everybody wants to win. They want to win a state title. They want to win a conference title, all that stuff. Only one team's in each division is going to end up with a state championship. So how do you measure success? I mean, whether you win a state title, obviously you can say, hey, that was successful, but odds are many teams aren't going to do that. But you could go 2-14 and still have a successful season. So to you, what's success?
To me, success is at the end of each game, each individual girl improved from where they were before they started the game. And when our season is over, if girls on that team can say, actually, if they're crying, to be honest, you hate to say it because they're females and they cry at everything, but like they're crying because the season's over, then we have had success because they are going to miss being around each other. So when they're sad the season's over, to me that was a success.
And girls, just individually and then as a team, what are you hoping to accomplish this year?
So we do set an attainable goal each season for the record that we wish to accomplish. This year we are hoping to get 9, 5, and 2.
They didn't scout me once again.
So that'll be the ultimate goal, and then as long as we'll take it game by game, get as far as we can. As for me, I want to communicate as much as I can, lead from the back, and try and encourage every other girl to push themselves and each other.
Something tells me that tomorrow at 7 a.m. you're going to discuss goals, and it might be one end of the field to the other. Regan, go ahead with your goals.
I would say as a team, I would love for everyone to get better as a whole, because there's some gaps that are going to need to be filled next year, and they're going to need some new leadership, and it will happen. But I would say that's probably my biggest goal as a team. And then individually, I would love to get 100 goals. I don't know what I'm at right now.
Not far from it.
But that's my individual goal, and the season goal, individual goal that Brooke Wilson has right now. It's 36. Freshman year, I got 35. That is upsetting, but my goal is to surpass that.
My last question for you guys, it's kind of funny you brought up Brooke Wilson again, is because you're talking about Brooke Wilson because she contributed to a legacy. And she had a phenomenal career, and so she's inspired you. So when you guys look back on your careers, how do you want to impact your legacy at Kyaga Heights?
We just want to encourage everyone to be passionate, not only about soccer, but everything they do in life. Take that passion into their school, into their future careers, any other hobbies that they have, but especially the team and the people they're working with. It's such a great feeling when you're passionate about something. You work hard at every single game, every practice, and you know that you're doing it for each other.
I would say for me, I just would love for everyone to still think that what would Regan want you to do if she was here over your shoulder? During fitness, people call me a little gnat, 'cause I'm come on, you can push yourself a little farther. I know you can. And I would want them to always think that. So.
Good. And Coach, I'll leave it with you. Just I've been asking all the coaches because when you look at the Chagrin Valley Conference and the development of soccer, but girls soccer in particular, I mean, what a conference.
Yes.
How cool is it just to see so many good teams in the conference that push you day in and day out?
It's amazing. It's great to see. It's great to have the state champions come from the CVC last season. It kind of inspires, I think, everybody else in the CVC to try and attain goals like that. But every day on the field, you have to bring your best, which that's what it's all about. So there's not one team in the CVCC that I don't think we would ever disrespect. It's quality coaches, quality girls, and it's just a great place to be a part of.
That it is, and I thank you guys for being a part of this tonight. Appreciate you making that long drive, and good luck to you this season.
Not as long as Independence Day.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Sure
Thank
thing.
you.
That was the Kyaga Heights Redskins here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Next up, we're going to have the home team, the Independence Blue Devils. Coach Brian Less stepping up to the hot seat here at Independence High School. Cruising along here at the CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Lutheran West is on deck, and I think that's going to wrap up the Metro Division. So up now, Trinity. Oh, they're hiding in the corner. That's right. Trinity. Oh, is that what you did? Good. All right. So here we have the Independence Blue Devils, Coach Brian Less. Coach, I'll give you the same spiel. Just kind of introduce your players and then give us there you go. Yeah, and then just introduce your players and give us your little elevator pitch on what we can expect out of the Blue Devils this year.
All right. Thanks for having us here, Steve.
I think you had us here, so thank you for hosting.
I didn't really set any of this up. I think it was all on you. So we have Sophie George. These are my two captains this year. Sophie George is over here. She's played defender for us the last 2 years and has turned herself into a nice little soccer player. Early in her career, she was a midfielder and forward off the bench, and halfway through her sophomore year, we were having some injuries here and there, and I was running out of defenders, and I'm like, hey, Coach McDonald, my assistant, I'm like, we're trying Sophie at some outside fullback tonight, and she played pretty well, and so, I mean, she's been, 80-minute player the last 2 years and at those spots, so she'll be doing that again this year for us. And then over here is Alex Adams, my other captain, and Alex has played anywhere in that center vertical column for us, from center defender to forward, all the center mid spots, and this year she'll be more of a forward and offensive center mid, but who knows, might have to sprinkle her in at some sweeper or center defender if we need to stop some goals here at the end of a game. But two very quality players and great young ladies.
And so when you look at your team, numbers are down. That's going to present a little bit of a challenge in itself. But you bring back a solid core. But that group of seniors that graduated, that was a pretty elite group and a special group that accomplished quite a bit here at Independence. So that in itself is a monumental challenge. How do you kind of expect to overcome that one?
Yeah, actually our last 2 years, we had some really high quality seniors. We're mostly starters from day one. We have a good group of sophomores, and I've been telling them this whole preseason, a lot of the success of what we do this year will be based upon how they can, how well they grow as players. A couple of them, Alex's sister and a couple others had some good, played a lot last year, but a lot of them only played maybe 5 minutes a half or not at all. And this year, with our smaller numbers, some of them will be on the field for 70-plus minutes a game. And we had our first scrimmage last week, and I was impressed at the growth that a couple of them showed already.
Alex, I'm going to start with you. You were one of those freshmen that were out here helping Independence do things that had never done before, and now you're a senior. As Coach said, last year you graduated a great group. The year before you graduated a great group. Now it's your turn, and how do you kind of expect to embrace the challenge you have ahead of you, is to kind of maintain that legacy and expectations here at Independence?
Well, I really look forward to this season helping develop our sophomore group. In the past seasons, we really focused on okay, let's get our first conference title. Let's look for these really great playoff runs, but I think I'm kind of looking to the future of our younger group and seeing what we can do this year with what we have, and seeing how far we can improve with them. I think is my main goal, and kind of the legacy I want to leave with them is just set them up for success, especially in their future, because with that group I see definitely a great future ahead of them, and I would love to be a big part of their development in the future for them. And especially this year, too, seeing how they improve would be amazing.
And Sophie, you changing positions back and forth, that's kind of the Independence way, is you don't have 10 club soccer players out here, so Coach has always had to kind of, okay, we've got this girl that's fast and can score, we're going to do this, but you are like the epitome of Independence girls soccer. You just have to get a role and then maximize your potential in it. So how are you kind of taking this season, senior year, and just knowing you have some big shoes to fill?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked hard the past 2 years just getting used to the defender spot, and I've really looked up to a senior who just graduated, Rachel Bielitz, and a couple other seniors before that. And, I'm excited, and I'm excited to teach the younger girls some things that they might not know or that they're getting used to. And I think it's really great just to see the girls growing in practice already. It's only our second real week of practice, and I've already seen so much growth from conditioning until now, and I'm just excited to see what else they can do this season.
Well, you picked a pretty good player to emulate in Rachel Bielitz. So what did you learn from Rachel that you're going to kind of throw into your game this year?
Oh my gosh, a lot. She wasn't a reckless player, but she just played so aggressively and just committed to the ball and was just a confident player. So I just hope to pick up those things from her.
And then Alex, you lose Paige and Raquella and just some of the other girls that just, were responsible for a lot of the goals. You're going to have to fill that role this year, and it's not new to you. You're a goal scorer, but are you feeling any pressure that you have to kind of step it up even more?
I would say definitely this year. I think that the young girls are definitely looking for someone to have as like a role model, someone to show them kind of like the ropes and like this is what we want to do, this is how we want to be a goal scorer. I do think that definitely there will be some like gaps to fill, some goals that need to be scored, whether it be me or Alana, kind of just helping each other out and then kind of combining, make it like a team effort kind of deal, because can't do it alone, but yeah, there's a little bit of pressure, but definitely I think it'll definitely be a team effort, and I think we can get it done.
Coach, offensively, defensively, how do you kind of adapt to a new year?
Well, this year offensively, we just have to shoot the ball. We have like the unfortunately most unselfish like goal scorers. Alex finally will shoot pretty much when she's open, but Lana, a sophomore, we kind of have to coax shooting out of her. She always wants to pass the ball off. Let him like just shoot the ball. And McKenna Rini also is kind of gun shy. Like just shoot the ball. If you're open, shoot the ball. That'll go in the net. So it's just kind of building confidence. Working how to combine passes. We're kind of getting up to. We just have a lot of raw talent. Like just raw players. Like they're going to be good, but we just have to fast forward their progression because they're not quite there yet. Luckily, defensively, that's where most of our experience lies. Rachel was kind of the only primary defender that we graduated. So we should be relatively strong at that end. We're tinkering around with some, new formations to really, I'm trying to figure out what players do well, and so instead of forcing players into a formation, we're finding a formation that fits our players. So we already did that with our first scrimmage, and I think it worked pretty well. I told the ladies, let's see, when do we have the scrimmage? Thursday, Friday, like that was actually better than I had thought it would go. Like we played a lot better than I thought we would. But unfortunately for them, my expectations are now higher, so I expect more. But I was real happy. We played a quality Elyria Catholic team, and we went toe-to-toe with them the entire time. A couple shaky calls there. I might have picked up a yellow card, which was the weakest yellow card ever, in my opinion. Just growing as a team, we'll do well.
Conference-wise, you guys, Beechwood's been up and down different divisions. 2 years ago, you guys had some really good games with them when you guys won the conference title. Kyaga Heights is a rival. You got Lutheran West, Trinity, some new faces to the league. How does that impact the way you guys approach games? Does it matter who you're playing, or do you thrive on those rivalry types of things, or you just want to play?
I don't know if it really matters. Coming into a game, I think our team just needs to have that confidence of, this is a team who we can beat, and we just have to be confident in each other and just know how we play and know our game. And I think we can beat good, solid teams if we just have that confidence.
I think definitely going off of that, focusing, one game at a time, looking, all right, who's our opponent? How can we prepare for them? Because like Sophie said, I think we do have the potential to go toe-to-toe with just about every team in our schedule, especially in the conference too. I think we just need to, focus that definitely one game at a time, and I think we can get there, and it'll all be good.
So 4 years ago, you were the wide-eyed freshman with all these, great juniors and seniors. You guys are the upperclassmen now. Everyone's looking at you that way. How do you kind of leave your footprint here on the program? What's it going to take for people to talk about you the way that we talked about Paige Westerberg and going back years to Jen Wisniewski? I mean, just the great player. You look behind you at the Hall of Fame. Maybe one day your picture will be up there. But what's it going to take for you to do that this year?
I think, first of all, it's just work ethic. Like, we work hard in practice, and we just want to show the younger players, if you work hard and you stay confident and know that you can do what your goals are, I think that's great for us to just show the younger players and just leave that legacy of, if you work hard, you're going to succeed.
you may not succeed, but
I know what you mean.
yes.
I think definitely going off what Sophie said, just being a role model, showing like this is what you need to do to be successful. Definitely working hard, you know, having good work ethic, positive mindset. You can achieve just about anything you really want to. And I think really that's the legacy we want to leave is just work hard, because that's what we did since our freshman year. That's how we succeeded, is just hard work together as a team. And I think if we could be a role model in that kind of aspect for our younger players, I think that would be amazing. That would definitely be the legacy I would want to leave.
All right. And Coach, last one for you. Define success this season, and what's it going to take to achieve it?
I always look at success as just quality play on the field, you know, stringing together passes, working together as a unit. And, you know, we got a ways to go before we get there, working on a lot of new players. I never really look at record as anything, because, you know, I always tell them record is as much who you play as how you play. You know, I've had some really good teams be barely 500 just because we play a really tough schedule. So, you know, if we're able to, you know, put together passes, at Thursday scrimmage, we had our one goal was, you know, 4 straight passes strung together and followed by a goal. So things like that will be success. You know, working hard on defense, communicating with a lot of young players. They don't like to talk on the field. So if we're able to get them out of their shell and be confident and start talking, and just, you know, playing up to our ability level, that'll be success this year.
All right. You guys are opening up Friday night out here, right?
We are. Right now it's 5 o'clock, but I have things in the works that maybe we can get it at 7.
All right. Well, good luck on Friday, and thanks for coming out tonight. Good luck this season.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
That was the home team, Independence Blue Devils, here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Up next, we've got Lutheran West. Head coach Christy Spiegel and a couple of her players will be joining us here. Once again, we are live from Independence High School for the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. As I'm trying to change our graphic here to represent the Lutheran West Longhorns. There we go. Okay, Coach, go ahead and why don't you start by introducing your players that you brought with you, and then give us your 2-minute elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Longhorns this year?
Sure. So on my left here, I've got Yo-Yo Zielinski.
Yo-Yo? I love it.
She goes by Yo-Yo, yep. She's been a starter since her freshman year. She plays center mid for us. She's one of those players, you come to a game and you watch for 30 seconds and you see her immediately. So she has been a huge contributor. A lot of, she's kind of like the quarterback. A lot of things go through her. A lot of plays start with her. Sometimes they end with her, So I think we're expecting big things from her this year and obviously in the future. And then right here, I've got Evelyn Albers. She's a senior captain. She's been our leading goal scorer for the last 2 years, so super excited to have her back. And same thing, we're just expecting big things. She can score from pretty much anywhere on the field, so it's exciting. So we're looking, I think the big thing from us this year is our offense has really started to click. We were young last year, it was my first year with them, kind of putting in a system and developing their soccer IQ a little bit more, and they knew where to play the ball and what they wanted to do, but like connecting on a lot of those things was where we fell a little bit short. And now it's like everything they worked on really hard last year is starting to fall into place, and it really shows on the offensive end. So I think a lot of what to expect from us this year is just a big mentality shift. Like, we have kids that weren't looking to go score and now they are, and that makes a big difference on offense. You're not playing hot potato with the ball. You're trying to go at somebody and you want to put the ball in the back of the net. So I'm really excited to watch that develop as they continue to kind of meld as a unit, because a lot of our returners are on the offensive side and it shows. So yeah.
Yo-Yo, I'm going to start with you because I've always wanted a nickname. My wife calls me a couple names, but I can't repeat them here. But how did you come about Yo-Yo?
Turn it on. Yeah, I did. Okay. My name's too hard to pronounce. I don't know.
All right. Well, Coach mentioned it's her second year. How much has that helped that you've got a year of experience under her system and her strategies, her coaching style? How much has it helped this year?
I don't know. I played soccer for a while, so I sort of had like the background of soccer to like help me transfer into Lutheran West or whatever. But I really like the system that she has put in place. I think it really brings the team together. It's not really about who's the biggest star on the team, who does the most, I should say. But like I feel like we all have like our own little system we contribute to the team, and I just feel like that's what holds the team together.
Cool. And Evelyn, I remember you from basketball, and Coach said you can score anywhere on the field, and it was the same with basketball, so I guess it translates pretty well. But just from your perspective, going into the second year with a new coach, I guess she's not new anymore, but how much of a difference has it made just to kind of get that newness out of the way, and now you can kind of focus a little bit more on the advanced stuff?
Well, obviously it helps having her for a year. It's going to be easier transition this year. But from my experience, we've not had very much consistency in the program. I've had 3 coaches in my 4 years, so that's always a difficult thing, is to learn how they coach, have them learn how you play, where to put you. So just having that consistency, her knowledge of us, she's going to know to put us where we're going to excel and where it's going to work, where the offense is going to connect, where the defense is going to be able to shut down. So just all that together, it's going to be just such a good thing for the season.
And Coach, I have to imagine for you, you got that first year out of the way, you learned who your players are, what they can do, and how you can push them. How different has it been for you in the second year?
Yeah, having I assisted the year before I took over, and being able to build my relationships with them before I took over as head coach, I think was really important, because I know how to push them in the way that they need it. Like how Evelyn responds versus how Yo-Yo responds is very different. And so coming in with now a year under our belt as like head coaching with them, I think that has been the single biggest contributors. I know them well enough to know how to kind of push them when it's the right time and when to back off when it needs to. And I think too, a COVID year is a great year to start head coaching. It's really great. So like when I got the email about media day and I told them, they were like, what is that? And I don't know either. I guess we'll find out together. But I think just being able to have as many returners as we do is really helpful, because especially at a smaller school, you don't have your traditional freshman, JV, varsity. And so getting everybody together as early as possible and then having those building on the success of the returners and their development, I think is really huge.
And then just from your perspective, you've got, I think, 4 all-conference players coming back, along with, the rest of the kids.
Yep.
So you got a nice core to build from to blend those new kids in. So what's been the biggest challenge as far as taking what you have coming back with the new kids and just kind of turning them into one team?
Yeah, I picked up, we are not what I would consider like a soccer school. And so we get athletes that we teach soccer to for the most part. I would say Yo-Yo is one of the few kids that has come through since I've been there that's like a legitimate soccer player. Everybody else is playing 3 or 4 things, and then they come out for soccer. They may not make it to volleyball, and they come out for soccer then. And so in a lot of ways, every year we're starting over a little bit, and so it's always a challenge to get them caught up now, because now this is the first year I've seen there's a real difference between the kids who have been here and who are new, because before it was just kind of a mismatch and not everybody had moved forward, and now it's really evident they have gotten better, and so that's definitely a challenge. We have flip-flopped challenges this year. So last year we had a young offense and a really experienced defense, and we graduated almost our entire back line, and so we have a very young 4 in the back. We've got 1 returner who I've moved positions now, because now she's going to step in at sweeper. And so even though she's experienced, she's in a new role, and a much more vocal role. And so I think right now, our biggest challenge is developing our back line as quickly as possible, because there's no question we're going to score more goals. There's not one part of me that is concerned about that. I'm not saying we're going to put up 12 goals a game, but we will be a much bigger threat offensively than we were last year. But we have a much younger back line now, and that to me right now is our most immediate challenge. Our starting goalkeeper moved to California, and so we also—
It's a long commute.
Yeah, exactly. So we're also very young in the goal. We hired a goalkeeper coach this year. I'm very excited about that. That's going to be a huge help, just so we can give them the time they need to develop. But yeah, I'd say right now, just developing our younger players in the back is going to be our single biggest biggest piece that we got to fill.
Evelyn, Yo-Yo, whoever wants to take it, how much pressure does that add to you guys, just knowing that, hey, our defense isn't experienced, might not be quite as talented as we need it to be right now? Is that extra pressure? How do you deal with that?
Not that I would say it's pressure, but it's always something that's on your mind. Like, you know you have to get a lead just because you don't know how, like, strong they're going to be in the back. But that also, like, where I'm playing this year, it's like I know I have to get back. I know I have to help my team. I have to be back there because they are younger than me, and I need to show them, like, you have to hustle back and you have to just form that connection. And it's going to take a little bit, but I don't think it's pressure that we have to score more. I think we have enough faith in our teammates that when time comes, they're going to pull through.
Same, or you got a different opinion?
No, I feel like it doesn't add pressure, but I feel it probably adds a little bit of pressure for like the offense just to connect better on the passes, so we're not like hustling to get back. Like we always have a hustle to get back, but like I feel like we need to connect better on our passes, have a better offense, just so we can help our defense out a little bit.
Everybody has a dream. Everybody has a goal. Usually the dream is we want to win a state title. And goals could be we want to win 10 games. We want to win the conference title. Just from your perspective, individually and as a team, what are your goals? What are your dreams?
I think for me personally, like I always tell them, like little steps, take care of the little things and the scoreboard will take care of itself. I really believe that. I think that we need to be better every day than we were the day before that, because if we can succeed on that level, then that adds up to more goals, that adds up to more wins, that adds up to a bigger run in playoffs, that all those, the trickle down effect from there, you know, is really big. You know, the whole world plays soccer because it's a beautifully simple sport, and it's all the little things that add up. And I think that's what makes or breaks the game is, can you make the through ball pass just at the right spot that it's not going to get picked off? You know, can you make the extra run for the give and go? Can you get the ball, you know, dropping it right into the middle of the box? Are you going to get a piece of it out of the air? You know, like I think for me, success will be defined by, are we better at the end of this season than where we started when we came in August? And their work ethic tells me that I'm not overly worried about that. But, you know, it's the understanding the importance of the little things. You know, like I said, it's not like basketball, I'm going to call a timeout and drop some great play and anything like that. You know, that I think you got to take care of it in practice, because then that's what shows on the field.
And just to add to that, like obviously everyone has conference in their mind and playoffs, but we this year are really focusing on the little things, and those little successes in the game are what's going to build to, you know, playoffs and conference. So those are the little successes we're looking at, and that's going to take us far.
Yep.
And then last question I'll leave you with, it's a conference question. You guys are one of the newer schools in the conference. Last year there wasn't really a league champion, but this year you've got the CVC title on the line, something that you can win. But how cool is it when you look at the conference that you play in? You've got Chagrin Falls, West Kyaga, Kirtland, you know, Hawkins won state title. I mean, just when you look at the conference as a whole, Independence went to the regionals, Berkshire went to the regionals. It's just such a, I mean, girls soccer in the state of Ohio has grown tremendously, but when you look at this little corner, our little pocket of 22 schools, what this league has accomplished is pretty impressive. How neat is it to be a part of that?
You know, we literally talked about that. We were talking about that in the car on the way here, is how, you know, I'm from Texas. When I moved here, I really didn't know much about the soccer scene in Ohio. And, you know, we had that whole conversation in the car on the way here. Like, there is really good soccer in this area. I mean, and not just at the club level. I mean, there are some really good high school teams, and I think that, you know, like we've talked about, like as a team, you know, we played Chagrin Falls last year. We got drilled. They're so good. Like, to credit to them, like they've been good for a long time, and they are good. Like, they play excellent soccer, and they play it beautifully simple, and they're good. They just are. But, you know, we said, like, we're looking like Chagrin Falls Rocky River matchup. We're excited because we can actually go watch that game now, you know, and like I think it's a real testament to the recognition of the skill sets in our area, because like our girls are excited to go watch good soccer, and we're not talking about college teams, you know, and so I think that that's another big thing, is recognizing, you know, the reality of where we stand against some of these teams that have been good for a long time. They've been doing it the right way for a long time, and we can learn from that, you know, and it would be foolish to think we can't, you know. And so we've been well aware of how good the soccer is, but I've been wildly impressed because from the South, everybody thinks sports are so much better there. But really, there's some really good soccer going on in this state, and I've been wildly impressed.
Excellent.
And then just something to put on top of that is, like, when you're in those games against those good people, you have to give yourself credit too. If you made it that far, you also are looked at as one of the better teams. So it's like a pat on the back sometimes. It's like, you're playing among very good players, so like give yourself some credit too. And I think that's something that like the team will look at is like, yeah, they're like Chagrin Falls is really good. We might get killed by them, but
we got better playing them.
Exactly. And so that's only going to help us and give us more confidence this season.
All right. Well, I appreciate you all making that trip from Rocky River over here, and glad you could participate in your first media day. Now you know what it is. So
That's right. Thank you.
we'll see you in the winter, Evelyn. But good luck to all of you and the rest of the Longhorns back at home. So hope to see you soon.
Great.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
That was the Lutheran West Longhorns here at the 2021 CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. Next up, closing out the Metro Division for us, are the Trinity Trojans. Got Coach Tara Hucks taking off, Don. All right, that is CVC Commissioner Don Lewis bidding adieu. Thanks for stopping in, Don. All right, Coach.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. It got quiet all of a sudden.
I know, it's just us now. We're
It
all
is.
relaxed.
It'll get noisy here as the who is it that's coming in? The Valley Division will be coming in here momentarily. But what I've asked every coach to do is just kind of introduce the girls that the coach brought along, and then just give us their 2-minute elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Trojans this year?
So on my far left over here, we have a junior. This is Imari Charlton. She is likely the fastest player that we have on our team. She's also a track star as well. So you will probably hear more about her in the springtime as well. So she is one of our returning forward/midfielders. She brings a lot of speed and talent for us up top. So we're really excited that she has chosen to come back and play. And then right next to me is Jillian Kalick. She is one of our star defensive players. She plays center back. She is very skilled back there. And she also is very talented on our set play. So taking all of our free kicks and our corner kicks and things like that. She's got a lot of talent, knows exactly where to place the ball so that we can be dangerous with that ball. So I'm excited to have both of them here, and she's a senior as well. So we've got a junior and a senior.
Great. Amari, I'm going to start with you, even though you're the junior. And the reason for that is I know Summer Roble graduated, and she was a dominant goal scorer, just a really good player. So somebody's going to have to fill those shoes, and you've got some speed, and I imagine you're going to be asked to pick up some of the slack that she left behind. Is that a role you're ready for?
Yeah, it is a role I am ready to fill because I know Summer was a main part of our scoring team. So I think I can fill her shoes, and I would hope that I would be able to fill her shoes and be able to score as she did and have the confidence to just score the ball.
And when you look at, obviously, she graduated, so there's a big gaping hole, and now you're going to be asked to step in there. But what did you learn from her that you can apply and just say, okay, this is how she was successful. How can I kind of follow suit?
One thing I did learn from Summer is to always take the shot. She always had it. She always had the confidence that she knew that she was going to score the ball. So I think I picked it up as I was with her for my 2 years, that just score the ball. If you have the shot, take the shot. Or just have the confidence that you can make the shot.
If you go home and you rewatch this video, you're going to hear a couple of the coaches say that very same thing, is that they have some girls that are, what was the word? They were not selfish enough. They were just too given. It's like, you've got the shot, take it. Don't, they're trying to set their teammate up. So at least you have that mindset where you learn that it's there, take it. You don't need that extra pass if you've got a shot. So that's good. And so Jillian, obviously a lot's going to fall on your shoulders as a senior defender. Is that? Oh, I thought it was the rain again. I'm like, man. We had some inclement weather pass through. It seems to have passed, but now the janitor or the custodian scared me pushing his little cart. But so Jillian, defense is going to be a big part of any soccer team's success. You're a senior back there. Are you ready to embrace a role as a leader and take all that comes at you? coach. I think you graduated 4 maybe? Or how many did? We graduated 7. 7. Oh, I think your mic might need to. There you go.
We graduated 7 seniors, actually, including Summer, as you mentioned, who was our leading goal scorer, and actually also Imari's sister, Taya, who was our goalkeeper. So that created kind of a hole for us as well, because we were kind of scrambling about what to do back there. But we got lucky, and we have our assistant coach played goalkeeper her entire life. So now we're okay. We're confident that she can train anybody up to be able to be a confident goalkeeper. And actually, Taya last year had never played goalkeeper, and she turned out to be a phenomenal goalkeeper. So I've seen someone just with pure athletic ability be turned into a goalkeeper. So I'm excited to have another girl with just pure athletic talent be turned into a goalkeeper under the expertise of our assistant coach.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously as a goalkeeper, number one, you have to be mentally tough.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 2, athleticism doesn't hurt. And then with good coaching, yeah, I can see it happen. But when you look at your team this year, obviously you've got to replace your leading goal scorer. You got some speed on top, so that's got to help ease your mind a little bit. But what do you see as strengths and weaknesses, and how do you compensate?
So something that we are very strong at is, I'd like to say, our defense. We had one girl who graduated from our back 4, our starting back 4. So we really just needed to fill that one hole, if you will, in our starting back line. Our back line they have a good soccer age. We don't have freshmen back on our back line. So, I mean, Jill's back there. She's a senior. We've got juniors back there, so they really command the back. So I'm excited to see our back line. We did graduate one senior out of the back line, but I'm excited to see the girl who's going to kind of fill her place fit right in. And we've done a lot of drills with our back line, and they're really looking super cohesive. So I'm excited about that.
And Jillian, since we're talking defense, I'll go right back to you. But what's it going to take for your defensive side to step up and take care of business and help your team compete in some big games?
I really just think that it's just going to take us moving as a unit and a huge role of communication. So not just communication on my half, but communication with all. So we're able to decide when we need to shift and when somebody needs to step to the ball. So I think just really having a good solid trust between each other and knowing that, hey, if you're going to shift, I know that I got you. So
Imari, everybody in the league knew about Summer last year, and so it's not going to take long for them to realize you've got some speed up top. So you're going to get some extra attention. How are you prepared to kind of deal with that?
I think I can take it. I think I am prepared to be able to score, and I have to be able to help everybody. And I think I can fill her shoes. I think I can go beyond.
You have to have that mindset, right? And Coach, just going back to you, wins weren't plentiful last year. You guys struggled to win games. You competed. You were there, but you didn't win as many as anyone would have liked. But this year, I've got to imagine that the expectation gets a little bit higher, a little bit greater. But what's it going to take for you to actually kind of take that next step?
I think that we've struggled because of the consistency of the soccer program at Trinity. So I'm the 3rd head coach in 3 years. That does not help any kind of team at all. I do feel like I have kind of an advantage because I was the assistant coach last year, so I do know the girls. I do know kind of how to coach them. I know what pulls them out of their own head. I think the mental toughness piece of having such a tough season and not winning many games last year takes a toll on them at some point during the season. And so I'm hoping to be able to have a better season as well, but I think we're doing a lot of kind of work off of the field on more of that mental toughness to translate onto the field, to have a nice cohesive team together and really play together, and everyone to just feel like they can trust in their team. As Jill was mentioning on the back line, our whole team to just kind of work together so that we're not just kind of piecing players here and there, that we really look like a team. And we're really starting to look like a team now, so I'm excited about that.
So Jill, from your perspective as a senior, you've had 3 different coaches. Yeah. How nice is it to at least have a little bit of consistency having the assistant coach, now the head coach?
It's definitely been difficult the last 3 years, having 3 different coaches, but it's also such a blessing to know that Hux knew us last year, and so she kind of understands how our minds roll, and same with how we play on the field. And so I just think that's really helpful to be able to throw it into being the head coach and into my senior year. So I'm very excited to see what our season's going to bring with her.
Everybody talks about cliches and goals, and to be successful you have to set goals. So I imagine you've set some goals. And Mari, what are your goals?
my goal is I hope we just have a good season to where everybody gains the confidence to be in soccer, to play, to not doubt yourself. Like, if you mess up, keep going. And for all you know, you could try and do that thing, and then what you messed up on, you do it better. So you just always have confidence. And I think we would have a good team this year. And I think as long as we have confidence, we'll be fine.
Coach, you agree?
I agree, absolutely. And I think we've been doing so much work just to have fun and have that translate into making a mistake. It's fine. You get better. You learn from it. And pulling from our mistakes and not dwelling on them, but just understanding that you will make mistakes. It's a part of soccer. It's a part of life. And having the ability to be able to recover from that and overcome the adversity that comes with making mistakes and maybe losing a little bit and being able to learn from those experiences.
So it's mental toughness. You've got to develop that.
That's what we're working on. We're real good at that right now. So hopefully it just carries on through the season.
That is a key. And, I've talked to everybody about the CVC as a whole and just the way girls soccer. I don't know where you're from. Are you?
I'm actually not from Cleveland at all. So I got brought up here. I played soccer at Ursuline, Ursuline College, and I just kind of hung out over here. But I'm actually from the southern part of Ohio, and soccer is not like that down there. So when I came here, it's been a struggle for me because I'm trying to learn, like, what school is that? And like, where is that school? And all these teams are in our conference that have this kind of talent. It's incredible. So at first it's a little bit intimidating to kind of see everything, knowing that we have, kind of like 3 head coaches in 3 years kind of thing. And, but now I think I've gotten over the shock of all these good teams being around us, and I'm excited for A, the challenge, and then B, the learning experience to be able to play with this kind of talent, because we don't get any better playing teams that aren't as good, and so we will be constantly learning throughout this season in our conference.
Right, and as a coach, if you could figure out how to easily get your players to buy into that, you'd sell $1 million book, just because that's the magic bullet is how do you get these kids to understand that, we're going to go play this team that's better than us, but if we learn from it, we got better. And
exactly.
So that's the challenge that Trinity faces. And so when you girls look at the legacy you're going to leave behind, how do you want to make an impact on the program? What do you want girls to remember about you?
I feel like I just want girls to remember that even like on our hardest days, like there's still good things that come out of it. So like if we have like a super rough game, just like relating to what happened last year, like we might have not have been the strongest team and might have not have had the best season, but I feel like from each game we still learned something and we grew a little closer to each other, and I think by the end of the season we were better than where we started, not just mentally but like physically, I believe.
Myra, any last words from you?
I agree with Jill. I think as we go on, we get better, and we might play teams that are better than us, but I think we pick up for what they learn, and then we'll learn something we learned from that game, and then we'll show out and we'll show on that game. Like, oh, yeah, we learned that from that team, and we just build it up, and then I think we'll be okay.
All right. And then, Coach, last question is just, how are you going to define success this year? I mean, obviously 16-0 is a great successful season, but it could also be 4-12 and still have success. So how are you defining success, and then what's it going to take for them to achieve that?
So I think our success, again, as I've mentioned kind of throughout this whole thing, is really just having a good season in the sense of having the girls having a good time and not getting in their own head, even if it is a tough season. We're in a tough conference, and really just getting better mentally, growing into better humans, and then also growing their soccer skills on the field. And we did have kind of a challenge getting numbers for this year. It's been a very tough recruiting situation having this many head coaches in this short of a time period. So we do have a lot of girls who didn't play last year, and so just trying to come and get that cohesiveness as a team, I think, is kind of like where we're starting. So for us, success looks like coming together, playing as a team, getting better every single game, and then being able to look back and say, hey, remember where we started in August when we all didn't know each other's name, and really just looking back on that and recognizing our success.
Sounds good. I appreciate you guys making the trip out here, and good luck to you this season.
Thank you so much.
All right. That was the 2021 Trinity Trojans here closing out the Metro Division portion of our CVC Girls Soccer Media Day. We've got the Valley Division starting at 7:30, so we shall be back in just a few moments as wow, they should be here already, right? I'm looking around and nobody's here yet. So it's 7:30. The Valley Division's supposed to start, but we will take a break and give them some time to arrive, and we'll be back soon.